Recently I ran into a problem, and maybe you've experienced this too. Whenever I'm working on my projects or fixing something on my printers, I keep losing tiny parts or tools that I literally used just a minute ago and then left somewhere. And this is what my organization system looked like until now. I'm currently trying to sort everything, but the real issue is that my tool storage just wasn't flexible enough. So I decided to design my own 3D printed toolbox. Small, modular, functional, and designed specifically for the kind of projects I work on every day. And by the way, if you want to build one yourself, all files are available for free on my Ko-fi page. The biggest advantage of designing the toolbox from scratch is that I can adapt it exactly to my needs. Because I realized something pretty quickly, most store-bought toolboxes are way too big, way too heavy, and honestly not made for things like 3D printing or small electronics. So I asked myself, what do I actually need? And a few things were immediately clear. First, I don't need a huge compartment for tools. Most tools I use for my 3D printers and projects are small, so only half of the toolbox is for tools, and that side should be easy to subdivide. The other half is for small parts: nozzles, screws, electronics, tiny components. All the stuff you use all the time and lose all the time. And I also wanted to add a few small features to make the toolbox even more practical. Since the tool side was very simple to design, I started working on the side for all the small parts first. My first idea was something similar to Gridfinity, but with fully closed boxes instead of open modules. So I began by designing the boxes themselves. I wanted small containers that are completely closed, where you can store all your tiny components and then drop them into the toolbox depending on what project you're working on. And I knew right away that I wanted at least 2 different sizes. But I quickly learned that the boxes would take the longest to get right. The lid mechanism in particular took a lot of time. The early versions kept cracking at the hinge point until I finally landed on this snap-fit system. It locks the lid securely in place, but it's still easy to open and close. Technically, the boxes can be scaled to almost any size, which means the whole system could become even more flexible over time. And so that the boxes sit firmly inside the toolbox, I designed a grid on the bottom where they simply drop in and stay in place. On the tool side, I kept things pretty simple. I added 2 optional dividers that you can slide in when you want a bit more structure, and a cross divider that splits the whole section into 4 smaller areas. I'm still not completely sure if this is the perfect layout or if I'll refine it later, but for a first version it worked really well. On the small parts side, there was one area where the radius of the box created a bit of unused space. So I added a small dual compartment there, perfect for quick access tools. And on the opposite, I added a small recessed pocket designed to hold a magnet underneath. It's meant for screws, bits, or small components you want to grab quickly. Just drop them in and the magnet keeps everything in place. And of course, the most important part, the handle. I went with a very minimal and thin design. With the material I'm using, it's more than strong enough, and since I won't be carrying the toolbox around all day, I wanted the handle to feel like a design element, not the main feature. It can be removed from the top and swapped out, and I also designed a second, slightly stronger version for anyone printing in less durable material. Plus, having the handle as a separate part lets you add a bit of color and customize the look. Once I was happy with the full design, I printed all the parts and finally put the toolbox together for the very first time. The assembly is, of course, extremely simple. You take the main body and slide the handle in from the bottom. Then you can drop in all the boxes and, if you want, add the dividers on the tool side. These are the tools I mainly use for my 3D printers, and everything fits perfectly inside the toolbox. In the future, I also want to print a small register for the boxes, basically a little shelf or library where I can store all of them and pick exactly the ones I need for each project. And if you work with really tiny parts, the boxes can also be subdivided on the inside. I uploaded an extra version with internal dividers as well. Overall, I'm super happy with how this toolbox turned out. What do you think? What would you change? Or what features do you think are still missing? Let me know in the comments, maybe we can even design a better version 2 together. All print files are completely free on my Ko-fi page, you'll find the link in the description. And while building this toolbox, I realized it actually made me want to work on a small electronics project again. So if you want to see how I built the most calming timer Eve, you can check out that video right here.